The city was drowning in rain that evening. Thunder roared in the distance, and most of Daniel Carter's employees had already left. But Daniel, the cold and calculated CEO of one of the biggest corporations in town, sat in his office, staring at his computer screen. For years, success had been his only goal. He had no family, no close friends, only business deals and contracts to fill the empty silence of his nights. Just as he was about to pack his things, a faint knock echoed on the glass door of his office. He frowned. No one should be here this late. Slowly, he turned his head, and what he saw made his heart skip a beat. Standing in the doorway was a little girl, no older than 10. She was soaked from head to toe, her shoes muddy, her thin dress clinging to her shivering body. Rainwater dripped onto the marble floor. But that wasn't what stunned Daniel the most. The girl was clutching something tightly in her tiny hand. Daniel walked over, his voice unusually gentle. "Daniel, what are you doing here, sweetheart? Who brought you?" The girl looked up with wide, frightened eyes. Her voice was almost a whisper. "Girl, sir, this belongs to you." She stretched out her trembling hand and placed an old, worn photograph on his desk. Then she stepped back, waiting silently. Daniel's heart pounded as he picked it up. The photo was faded, the corners bent with age, but he knew it instantly. It was him as a little boy, standing with his parents outside their old, crumbling house. A photo he thought was lost forever when his family's home burned down decades ago. Daniel's throat went dry. "Daniel, where did you get this?" The girl lowered her eyes. "Girl, it was in my mother's box. She told me, before she died, to find you, to give this to you." Daniel's chest tightened. He swallowed hard. "Daniel, your mother's name." When the girl spoke, Daniel staggered back, stunned. Her mother had been his childhood friend, the only person who had stood by him when his family went bankrupt. They used to dream together, laugh together, survive the hardest days together. But when Daniel rose to success, building his empire brick by brick, he lost touch with her. Now, years later, her daughter stood before him, orphaned, drenched in the rain, clutching the last memory of their bond. Daniel slumped into his chair, the weight of guilt crushing him. All the wealth in the world suddenly felt meaningless. "Daniel," softly, "she never told me. She never asked me for help." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "Girl, she didn't want to bother you. She just said, if I ever felt lost, I should find Mr. Carter. She said, you'd understand." Those words pierced Daniel's heart like a blade. His childhood friend had believed in him until her last breath, and here was her daughter alone, hungry and scared. For the first time in years, Daniel's cold facade melted. He slowly knelt down in front of the girl, looking her in the eyes. "Daniel, listen to me. From today, you are not alone anymore. You're coming with me?" The girl gasped, her lips trembling. Daniel took off his expensive coat and wrapped it around her shivering body. He held her hand gently, something he hadn't done with anyone in decades, and led her out of the office. That night, instead of returning to his empty mansion alone, Daniel brought the girl home. He fed her, gave her clean clothes, and for the first time in his life, felt the warmth of family again. Days turned into weeks. Daniel discovered that the girl was incredibly bright, polite, and full of dreams, but her life had been filled with hardship. He enrolled her in the best school, provided tutors, and even arranged therapy to heal the scars of losing her mother. Slowly, his mansion, once filled only with silence, echoed with the laughter of a child. Years passed. Daniel no longer worked only for money. He worked to give the girl, whom he now called Lily, the life she deserved. He attended her school events, celebrated her birthdays, and even learned how to cook her favorite meals. People around him noticed the change. The ruthless businessman had become a father figure, softened by the love of a child. And then, one day, it came full circle. Lily stood on stage at her high school graduation, wearing her cap and gown, smiling with tears in her eyes. Reporters crowded around her, curious about her journey. When one asked how she had achieved so much despite her tragic past, Lily's answer silenced the entire hall. Lily smiling, "Because years ago, I knocked on a stranger's door, and he chose to become my family." Daniel, sitting in the front row, felt his eyes brim with tears. At that moment, he realized the greatest deal he had ever made wasn't in boardrooms or business contracts. It was the promise he made to a scared little girl on a rainy night, a promise that turned his life upside down, in the best way possible. Sometimes, one knock on the door can open a new chapter of life. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because you never know, the next story could change your life too.